In the mid-19th century to the early 20th century, children across the United States were working in hard conditions and got little to nothing to show for it. This was known as child labor. Lewis Hine was a photographer who took pictures of the horrors of child labor and the atrocious conditions children faced. Lewis Hine used to be a New York school teacher, but felt strongly against child labor and started working for the NCLC, the National Child Labor Committee. Hine opened the public's eyes to the reality faced by working children and helped shift people's views on what childhood should be like. His work played a crucial role in inspiring change for children that remains significant even today. This documentary will dive into the story of Lewis Hine.
It starts in the mid-1800s, the peak of the Industrial Revolution. Children across the U.S. did hard labor in harsh working conditions that included environments such as factories, mines, and mills. They were exposed to toxic substances and hazardous machinery, leading to frequent injuries and long-term health problems. Before the Industrial Revolution, most children worked in family farms or small trades, usually in less dangerous and seasonal roles. This all started because in the late 18th century, new inventions like the steam engine and the mechanized textile machines led to the rise of factories in Great Britain. Factories needed cheap, constant labor, and children were often employed for their agility and lower wages. At the same time, increased European immigration brought more families seeking work, often fighting harsh conditions. These technological and demographic changes made child labor widespread in the industrial settings. This labor prevented them from attending school, limiting their opportunities for future advancement and perpetuating a cycle of poverty for many working-class families. The initial age range of working children was between 5 through 14 years old, which affected their profound beliefs through their early stages. Families and industries in America were dependent on these children, needing the money they provided for food and necessities.
Born in 1874, Lewis Hine started out his years on the factory floor. He lived in the town of Oshkosh, Wisconsin as a boy, but shortly after, his father died in an accident. This made 18-year-old Hine the family provider and having to labor in a furniture factory. It was around this time that he fell under the influence of a strong tutor, Frank Manny. At the time, Frank worked as the head of the Ethical Culture Fieldston School in New York. One day, Frank decided to bring Hine to the school with him to teach, while also requesting he photograph and document the activities around the school. Seeking a deeper education, he went to the University of Chicago, Columbia University, and New York University to study sociology. Six years later, in 1907, he joined the Russell Sage Foundation, an organization dedicated to the improvement of social and living conditions in the United States. He worked as a photographer in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, for the landmark of sociological study, the Pittsburgh Survey. 3 years before Lewis Hine joined the Russell Sage Foundation in 1904, the National Child Labor Committee was formed by a group of activists. Then, in 1907, they started hiring a variety of agents to investigate child labor in the United States. In early 1908, Hine left both the Russell Sage Foundation and his teaching career. He did this because he felt strongly about how terrible child labor is across the states and how it affects the children he saw every day at school. Soon after, he decided to join the NCLC in 1908 and start declaring issues about child labor, because he believed photography could be used as a tool for social reform. His photographs were used by the NCLC to raise awareness, leading to laws outlawing child labor and nourishing the health and education of children. Hine's goal was to capture the trials and the tiring journey they undertook, often challenging stereotypes surrounding the work at the time. He pursued this as he went all around the United States making documentations, and providing concrete evidence to mobilize public opinion and pressure lawmakers.
The answers from the lawmakers would not be unheard. The owners of the factories and mines using children were arguing how it paid for families and business, creating problems with Lewis Hine, even going as far as trying to stop him from photographing their workers in fear of not being able to employ children. As it turned out, there was a three-way conflict between groups of people. The lower-class families, depending on their children's small income to survive, the middle class, disgusted by the conditions but unable to convince more people, and the upper class, who were wealthy people, usually men, and using cheap labor to get rich from quick industrialization. This would also initiate a ruling as the legal challenges would go against photographers. The case in question was Hammer v. Dagenhart in 1918. This is one of the most controversial and famous cases at the time because it struck down the Keating-Owen Child Labor Act as unconstitutional federal overreach, meaning the federal government was committing actions that exceeded the specific powers granted to it by the U.S. Constitution.
The photo evidence was very strong. Americans saw visual evidence of what conditions were put upon children. Public awareness was raised, outraging activists, and forcing undeniable evidence of the atrocities of child labor to lawmakers. If Lewis Hine's photojournalism never took place, children today may have been working in mines and factories, not behind desks or playing on a field. The public detestation of the idea that children should be working like adults led to several laws being passed, including the Keating-Owen Child Labor Act and the Fair Labor Standards Act, creating boundaries for how children can work. Hine's work demonstrated how influential digital and visual media can be on politics, later becoming an immense gateway for the public to be heard out. Lewis Hine's work was a major reform in the laws and public views surrounding child labor in the United States. One person was able to peacefully document and photojournal scenes of children doing hard labor across a country and non-violently reformed public perception on a wide-reaching level. The reactions to the photograph reformed the public's view of thinking that child labor is necessary for economic development and supporting families, and to making lawmakers pass laws to establish a minimum wage, work condition requirements, age restrictions to work, and hours minors can work. He fought injustice and established new foundations for photography, and voiced his mind to the world. Lewis Hine will be known for his commitment.